Welcome to the podcast that is guaranteed to improve not only your photography, but your mind, body, and spirit as well. Full of interviews with the top image makers in the industry, where we talk photography, drink whiskey, and fill up the bathtub with High Life and PBR. So grab a juice box, a handful of unsalted almonds, and get ready for the show.
In this episode, I just am thrilled to death. I am joined with three of my just best good friends. I'm joined with Coach Parrish, as usual. He's the co-host on this one.
How you doing, Coach?
We got Coach Mayhew. She's star of the week doing a tutorial, and we also have Coach Holder, as usual. Coach, how you doing, Holder?
I don't like the sound of that.
Why not?
You should be Coach Mo, or Harper calls you Miss Mo.
Well, I just wanted to formally introduce you, as your full name, not Coach Mighty Mo as we know you the best. There might not be a lot of people out there.
I like Miss Mo.
I like Miss Mo. Sounds like a badass.
Miss Mo.
So we have been filming Jai Mayhew's tutorial this entire week, and we are coming rapidly to the close. Yeah, actually, like a year of planning, a couple of months of hard work.
Yeah.
A few weeks now of filming, and we're about to wrap this, dude. But what you're missing right now is we're recording some new sounds for our podcast that will incorporate some catchphrases from this tutorial. So we have officially, here comes button one.
Did we just become friends?
Which is just Mo asking everybody if...
For the record, everybody answered yes, and
They did.
we are still friends to this day. Thank you.
So... And then, of course, Jay's catchphrase of the week was,
I'm here for it. And I'm still freaking here for it.
She's always been here for it. She never left.
Time she lives here.
yeah.
This is her studio.
Jay, so I am super thankful to have gone through this process with you. It's been incredible to actually learn and see your process up close. I want to travel way back in time. Can we get in the time machine?
Oh, God.
You give me a year that you'd like to start in, but try and go back far in time.
Okay.
And close your eyes, pick a place. It's got to be a long time ago. Where is it? And why are you there?
It is third grade. We are in Richmond, Virginia. And I just found my mother's high school yearbooks.
All right.
And we're about to get real. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So my mom is this natural beauty. She is not into Botox, fashion. She's not into any of that. So since I remember, she has been the typical mom.
Get up in that mic. Yep.
All right. There's about to be a struggle situation. Hold on. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Since I remember, she has just been the typical mom. So when I was in third or fourth grade, I remember finding this trove of yearbooks, like 4 of them, all of her high school just documented. And I didn't know this. None of this was conveyed to me. She was prom queen, homecoming queen, the head of the cheerleading squad, the head of just everything. So there were just
Principal.
basically
Just a one-woman show over here.
She did it all.
So there were literally just pages and pages devoted to her in these gowns and tiaras. And I just remember looking at these pictures and thinking, this isn't my mom. Like, this is this version of her that I have never seen. I would go through these pages ad nauseum. I mean, granted, this is before kids had computers or Instagram or cell phones. Granted, I was in a basement and bored, but whatever. I had yearbooks. It was a good time. I was here for it.
Don't you have to say I was there for it, since this is taking place in the
Not if she's here for it. You can't be there for it and here for it at the same time.
I'm living in her story right now, so technically...
They're friends.
Guess it.
We just became friends.
David, stay over there for this, all right? Now, continue.
Oh, my God. we're running on so little sleep and like so much fun right now. But I went through these pictures so many times. And so then I asked my mom about it, and she managed to fish out this one like prom crown that she still had. I wore that thing until the hinges fell off of it. And then I asked my grandfather if he had any of her high school pictures. And there's this photo of her, and it was just the classic like high school picture where she, like it's shoulder wrapped forward, like feathered boa kind of thing. It's nothing special. I had that picture on my dresser for like 5 years. I just remember thinking, this is this version of my mom that I wish I could have known. I thought she looked like a princess. I thought she looked glamorous and beautiful. Not that she wasn't beautiful for her age and her lifestyle, but she wasn't into any of this when I knew her. This just gave me such a love for this idea of elevating women beyond what they were in their everyday life. I would not connect with this until so much later. I fell in love with models. I fell in love with photo shoots. I fell in love with fashion. But when I started to get into portraiture, I immediately connected with this idea of, oh my God, like my mom and her high school pictures, yearbooks. When I create albums for my clients, I tell them about my mom's yearbooks. I'm like, your kids will look at this. When they're in 3rd grade in a basement with no phone, they will look at this legitimately and grow up with this. It is so important that your work is printed, because if that had been on a phone somewhere, I never would have seen it.
You tell your clients that this is going to be important, that it's going to be hanging out in a basement? Because I feel like your pictures are always above the mantle. They don't go in the basement.
Well, I tell them it shouldn't really be in the basement, but I tell them it should be printed.
Well,
it should be printed.
Some people don't like it over the mantle. Some people like to keep that shit for themselves.
Some people have a cool basement. What's wrong with the basement?
Like a man
This
cave
basement is
This
look at
basement is legit.
This basement's real tight.
I would live in this basement.
I do.
So many activities.
On this gold couch. I would live on this gold couch.
You are living on that gold
I
couch. You
am.
haven't left the whole week. It's weird. I just want everyone to know that David insisted that he be carried in and off of set on the gold couch, and we had to hire people just to move him.
He was also very particular about the dress he wanted to wear.
I know.
Don't make fun.
And
That
why
red
did you
was
take
my
it
color.
off? Why
Red
did
was
you
my
take it
color.
off? You've been wearing it all week.
Well,
you just didn't want it
David's
so-
one
on.
of your neediest
You didn't want it on
clients.
video?
No, it wasn't really about not having it on video. I just felt like maybe we needed to take it to the cleaners now. You know, like after wearing it for a week.
You were
like,
rolling
that's-
around out back in it for a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
Trying
fall.
to
I
get,
don't
like,
get to
the-
experience the fall, so I figured
Yeah.
the red, the like orange and red leaves. I was waiting for her to run outside and make me into art, but she didn't want to draw me like one of those French girls. Just didn't happen.
I'm not here for that.
No, I
She left. She's gone for that.
I'm sorry. I was like, she told a beautiful story about her beginnings, and then next thing I know, David's.
Ending.
Gary asked me why I wasn't wearing a dress anymore. I had to explain.
Yeah. True. Everyone is correct in this situation.
I like how you blame it on me, but
Anyone
somebody
else
asked me a
I didn't blame
question.
anybody.
Talk about it at this point.
All right, so it was on your dresser for 5 years. So now we're in what, 8th grade? We're in 8th grade.
No, we're in like college at this point.
Okay.
Like at college, I was
Skipped
no
a few
longer, so,
grades.
Like high school, like yeah.
One or two.
She's one or two. All right, well, so where'd you go to college?
So I ended up finishing at Illinois State University, but I finished over in Austria. I ended up going abroad.
So you graduated in Austria.
I came back for the ceremony. I finished
Okay.
my last year over there.
And what brought you abroad?
So I grew up in Germany, and I really wanted to go back over there. So I made international studies or international business my minor, solely for the joy of just going back over there. So I got to
Sick.
finish. Yeah, that was literally it. So I got to live in Salzburg and just travel all over there, and that was really just
So you grew up in the military as a military child.
Army brat.
Army brat. I didn't want to say
Blah.
it. I mean, I guess that's
It's common
it's
vernacular.
common vernacular. Okay. I'm just trying to be respectful, Dave.
I'm just letting you know that
Thanks.
it's common vernacular.
Thank you.
You are, in fact, being
Where
respectful.
in
Confused
Germany-
with the Air Force children.
Where in
There's a
Germany did you
war
grow
going
up?
on. Mannheim.
Mannheim. Where's Mannheim? I've never even heard of that.
It's in Germany.
It's in Germany. Sure. I'm shit at this job. All right. So, do you know any German? Like, how long were you there? Is it like 4 years, 8 years? What does growing up in Germany mean?
5-6 years.
5-6
I
years.
was fluent in German when we left, but my parents were never fluent. So when we got back to the States, they got me a tutor. But when your parents don't speak it and you don't speak it at home and your friends don't speak it, I lost it relatively quickly. So I thought when I went abroad, going back to a German-speaking country, that I would pick it back up. but the English-speaking citizens in Salzburg are so common, and their English was so much better than my German that, quite honestly, they got a better workout of their English than I did of my German, so I didn't pick it up the way that I really hoped that I would.
Do you remember how to say, I need pockets in these underwear? Is that something, or is it too weird?
I'm not here for that, Gary.
All right. We've left
What
that. Okay,
would
so
you
you've
put in
graduated.
those pockets?
You've graduated. How could you not want pockets in your underwear?
Okay, more importantly, why do you need the small pockets in your underwear?
Think of the things that you need to hold on to when you're just in your undies and you got no other pockets.
I
That's
have
my
a robe
concern.
for that, and like that has pockets.
It's the
Yeah,
small
but
pockets.
I don't wear robes.
I'm gonna buy you a silk robe, and it's gonna change your life, honey.
What's
Is it going to have a tiger on it?
Ooh, a tiger on the back would be tight.
That would probably sell it. That
silk-
would probably be
I am here
Silk
for
robe with a
that.
tiger on it. Yeah.
I am
tiger
here for
on the
that.
back.
David, you should be using
Pocket.
it.
Maybe a wolf.
Little 3/4 sleeve. Ooh, child, this gonna be it's gonna change your life.
I'm here for it.
She's here for it. Amazing. Amazing.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
so we're in Germany. We've just graduated. You're eating schnitzel by the handful.
Yeah, that's how it went.
Now where'd you go? What happened after that?
So after I graduated, I came back to DC, and I ended up getting a job on the Hill. I was working in politics, and that is not really where I saw myself ending up. I had really wanted to work in advertising, but I majored in PR, and you just kind of end up where you end up right after graduation. So I did that for a few years. I got to work with Clinton for a little bit. I met some influential figures.
George Clinton?
And the Parliament Funkadelics.
And this is why they are perfect
That's why
together.
you're my girl.
I have met Trump. I have met Clinton. I have met some Kennedys. I have met some people.
Wait, don't back the F up.
You
Let's
back
talk
the
up.
F
I'm over here for that. Let's talk about pick one of those people that you just
Okay.
met and
All right, let's talk
tell
about
me that experience.
Please don't be Trump. Let's not.
Let's start with Trump.
No.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, let's just
I'm more interested
talk
in
about
Kennedy.
both.
I want to. What's up with Kennedy?
So
Which Kennedy?
yeah, which Kennedy?
Yeah, tell
All the
us
good ones are
more.
gone.
Are we talking about Junior or Ted?
now Ted. Junior was gone at that point. Let's do the math here, people.
Yeah.
How old do I look to you?
I'm not. I do not want to answer that.
No, answer it while we're tied to mics that keep us on the other side of the room.
You are 31.
I'll go with that. That's cool. All right. So
She'll go with that.
I'm here for that. I was in New York. Actually, so I was a PR major, so public relations major. And we were in New York from my university for the PRSSA conference, so Public Relations Student Society of America. And we were supposed to be attending all of the conferences. But if you are from Illinois and you are in New York City for a conference, are you attending the conferences? Hell no. You are all over the city. You are not at the conferences.
You are
But
not there for that.
You are. That's. I'm sorry.
I was just clarifying where she was at this point.
I was not there for that.
No, she wasn't.
But I think Donald Trump was the keynote speaker. So we showed up for that one talk. But it wasn't that interesting. So right after he was done, we snuck right out the back before the other speakers came out. But we happened to go to the same elevator as him and all of his security detail. So we're standing there waiting for the elevator at the same time as him and all of his people. And he was like, "So how are you enjoying the city?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's fun." And he was like, "Yeah, it's a great place, if you have the money to enjoy it." And we're like, "Yeah, pretty much." He's like, "Have a good time." And he got out of the elevator. I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And then I met Clinton a certain amount of years later at a congressional event. So I worked for the WIC program, so Women, Infants, and Children.
John
So-
has a great program.
Mr. John Wick.
I love his program.
Who is
Protects
controlling
puppies.
his mic? Who's controlling?
I'm sorry, turn it off. Didn't the intermediaries say that you're going to mute this debate? No, never mind. Go.
No, they're just supposed to turn down the mics in between.
Oh.
So I worked for the WIC program, and I worked a lot with Welch's grape juice, and so she was the representative for a grape growing state. So I worked with her office a good bit.
Did you meet her through the grapevine? Did we just become friends?
Yes, girl, I did. I met her through the grapevine. So yeah, that. She complimented my shoes, so I'm gonna run with that. Yeah, so when they were running against each other, I was like, this is the one time in my life, and I'm gonna be like, I have a picture with her, and I've met him. So it was an interesting, just because I'm not a political, I mean, I'm involved in politics in the sense that I care and I write to people, but I'm not like showing up at events trying to get pictures with candidates. So.
Handwritten letters?
No, email. Who has time for that?
I don't know. Well, you've got time to stamp wax and mail stuff to people. I didn't put it past you to have a feather quilled pen.
To people about.
Do they respond?
Things. They do. Yeah.
They do, or someone does.
Someone does.
Instantly?
That's an aid. That's all they do.
You think it's a auto response? Auto responses are getting pretty smart.
They are getting pretty smart, actually.
The AI behind programming auto responses and being able to interact with people is pretty. If you got the time to program it, it's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
AI.
Don't take this away from me. I would like to think that they're personally responding to me because I matter because of service. Don't take that away.
Oh, I wasn't planning on
Or
it.
teach me the AI to help me with my business model.
Let's go with that one.
Representative.
We'll talk after this.
One of the two. Yeah. So what was the question?
We were back in Germany eating
Schnitzels.
Schnitzels.
Because that's the only thing that Gary knows about Germany.
I think he said handfuls.
handfuls. Yeah.
That's all.
Right.
With the high socks. You got high socks on?
And lederhosen.
Sure.
The shortest shorts.
Oh my God.
And the high
We're
socks.
sorry for all of our German listeners who might feel.
Do you know Germany is actually like the 5th biggest procurer of tutorials from us? They're the first.
I did, in
They're
fact,
the
know
first country that is not an English speaking country that buys our tutorials.
Yeah.
Most of them speak a lot of English very well.
Germany speaks a lot of English very well.
They do
At
a lot
least
of things very well.
When I was there, they make hella cars. That's for damn sure.
They do make the best cars in the world, I would say. All right, back to
Yes.
back
And
back to
schnitzel
you.
they make
Back to
well,
sh- back-
apparently.
All right, so we've just met Clinton.
Really good pretzels too.
You've gotten out of college.
Yes. I started
You've
out of
graduated.
college. Yes.
And then where are you in life?
So I'm on the Hill in DC and I'm working, and this is just not the job that I've envisioned. I did not want to be in politics. I didn't realize at this point that I'm really a creative person. I don't know this about myself. I have not been a photographer. I just know that I am miserable. This is not the life that I have envisioned for myself. DC is very, politically motivated, of course, but when people meet you, they don't care who you are. They care what you do. That's literally the most important question. Who are you connected with? Can they do anything for me? And very quickly, you just find out you're the lowest on the totem pole. And it wasn't a ladder that I cared to climb because it wasn't something that I was truly interested in. So after a little bit of, job shuffling there, I quit my job. And it wasn't, again, this is not life advice that I'm going to get about. Like, just quit your job. Like, do as I say, not as I do. But after I quit my job, I had some friends who were photographers, and they were like, hey, just come to the studio, maybe hold a reflector for me. I was like, okay, sure, I can do that. I didn't learn anything. I wasn't trying to learn anything. But what happened was I had a girlfriend who was like, hey, you've been in a photography studio a couple of times. Would you come take some pictures for me? My boyfriend would love some pictures for our anniversary. I was like, sure, with absolute confidence and like a 2-megapixel camera and no skill and no retouching ability. I'm happy to do that for you. So we go to a park and she borrows a shirt and I take what are undoubtedly the worst portraits of all time. Just awful, terrible pictures. But she liked them and he liked them. And I just remember thinking, like, this is amazing. Like, we made something that didn't exist 2 seconds before this. And she loves them and he's excited about them. And then not only that, but we get to share them on social media. And then other people are excited about them. And they were nothing. They were nothing. But I was excited. And that sparked something. And I didn't have education and I didn't have knowledge about it. But I had excitement, and there's something about excitement that just carries you because you're going to have to put a ton of work into anything that you do if you want to be good at it. I am still, at this moment, I'm making a tutorial, and I'm still constantly trying to educate myself with YouTube videos and other tutorials and asking other photographers. The minute you stop trying to learn is the minute you start dying as a creative. I don't think there's any artistic person out there who's just done, who just says, I'm done learning, I've reached the top of my field. The people that I know who say that are not very good at what they do. But when you're excited about something, you've tapped into something really special. So I started trying to learn. I had some girlfriends who were models. I was like, hey, could I give you like some champagne and you just come over and like throw some poses for me for a couple hours? And that's how I got into the fashion and commercial side. They showed their pictures to their friends who were willing to come pose for me, who then hired me, who showed the pictures to their agencies. And that's entirely just in an organic way how I got into that side of the industry. And that really, it blossomed for me. But the technical side of it was something that I struggled with greatly because I didn't come from that. All of it, I mean, it's really shocking to me in hindsight how little I knew. There were times when I just literally prayed and would just fumble with the settings. Like, I hope to God I get a setting that turns out okay. Or there's the first year, I wouldn't even work with a makeup artist. And I had makeup artists constantly emailing me, I would love to work with you. I was so scared I wouldn't get one usable picture. I didn't want to bring them in, not even thinking, hey, if they're willing to volunteer their time, this could elevate my work. I was just so concerned that I wouldn't give them something usable. You know, the technical stuff, it's so important, but I was just leading with trial and error. Let's give it a shot. So I have very much learned as I've gone. And I will say, when I had to go from the commercial side to portraiture, my technical skills grew just so much, because they had to, because suddenly it wasn't a forgiving environment. A model, if you get the lens wrong, if you get the lighting wrong, if she's young and tall and thin with flawless skin and hair and makeup and stylist and wardrobe and great lighting in the perfect location, there's a lot of forgiving elements at play. If you have a 45-year-old woman who is 20 pounds overweight in a dress that she brought from a wedding that was already a little bit tight in a studio with just a backdrop and whatever lighting you set up, if it's not right, if you don't have your elements right, it's not going to work. And so I had to get better really, really, really fast. It was such a blessing. And this space was such, and I call it a dark blessing. And I mean that literally. It's dark. I don't have natural light. And that's what I learned. It's what everyone learns on. It's free. It's free. You have a window, you have natural light. I had to learn to get better, and I have, and it's not that complicated. I think it seems so scary. How many lights do you use? How do you start with them? And I hope that that's what this tutorial does, is it breaks it down. It's not science, it's not ratios, it's just where do you need light, and you add it. Where does light need to be taken away, and you take it away. It's a constant thing, it's an evolutionary thing, it's a lifelong thing, but it's not that complicated. I don't know. It's not a rags to riches kind of story. It's a slow rolling story, but I love what I do. I'm so grateful I found it.
Okay, I love that whole process of learning, because I think when I was in cosmetology school, I bought into the idea that I could watch somebody else do this craft and I would just be able to see them do it and then mimic it. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know why they were doing what they were doing. I didn't understand, subtle nuances and how they were holding their wrist when they were using the scissors. And I think what really, really taught me how, hair behaved when you cut it, and just the different aspects of, how to cut hair and how to do all that. It came from trial and error. Those are those learning moments that really hit home. That's where you learn the whys and the hows of what you're doing. And so I think that people watching you in this tutorial will get a lot from that, because you problem solve. You also talk to yourself, which I do too, but it was fun watching your gears work in real time, and problem solving on the spot with all of the pressure. There were so many cameras and so many spinning plates, and I just thought it was.
I remember the doves. Where were the spinning plates? Where did that come in?
Doves. They're happening in her head.
Oh, okay.
She's got lots of things going on, and how you're still able to make it not only a teachable moment because of this tutorial, but you had learning moments too. And all the while you were still directing people and just doing different, it was pretty cool to watch. And I think a lot of people could get a lot out of that.
So I agree. Your career, you jumped from fashion to portraiture. Why?
Wait.
Yeah, I need to know.
Guys, we're going to do a cliffhanger and get into this at the beginning of the next podcast with Jay.
Are we going to talk about the doves? Is that where you're going with this?
Yes, that's how we're going
Are
to
we
start.
going to talk
the
about
next
when doves
podcast.
cry?
What happens?
Yes. Yes.
What does it feel like, David,
we've hit the
when they cry?
we've hit the time mark, David.
Oh.
We've already gotten there.
But hey, we're going to pick up the next one. So join us next time in the next episode of Jay, where we pick up this cliffhanger.
I'm
And
here for it.
she's going to be here for that. Guys, thank you for joining us on this podcast. And I'm not even going to lie, we're going to start the next one right now. You know?
Pro EDU is now unlimited. Get access to every single tutorial. Sign up at proedu.com today. I don't know about you, I take comfort in that. This podcast is officially over. See you next time. Never stop learning.